Hi, this is by far the game of the day in the 8th round. The game everybody was talking about. What the hell happened? Well, we'll just have to dive into it to see. Magnus Carlsen had the white pieces against Gawain Jones. Now Gawain Jones, the bottom seed in the group, having won his right qualifying from the B group from last year, and so far having a very good tournament. He had the black pieces, and after Carlsen opened e4, he went with c5. Normal open Sicilian here with d4, and Jones goes for g6. The dragon. Now Jones is well versed in the dragon. He has written a book about the dragon, so he should know his stuff here. Bishop e3 by Carlsen, bishop to g7, f3, seemingly going for the main lines, knight c6, queen d2, and castles by black. Here, however, Carlsen did not go for the Yugoslav. If he plays bishop c4, he would go down the very main lines with bishop d7, and stuff like this has been seen thousands of times. Potentially very exciting games after g4. White will attack with h4, bishop h6, etc. and black will try to get this stuff going on the queen side. A completely different game, but Carlsen did not go for this. He went queenside castles, and this changes the character of the game. Because white did not play bishop c4, he's not controlling the d5 square, and this enables black to break immediately with a d5, and that's what Gawain did. Now Carlsen played a trendy move here, queen to e1. The other option is to take on d5, and play becomes sharp there as well. White takes on c6, and he has the option here to play bishop d4 or take on d5. If bishop d4, e5, black actually sometimes sacrifices the exchange here and gets good play. The rook will come to the b file. This bishop is good. This bishop can become good as well after we open the e file. And black has definite compensation. White also has to deal with the threat of bishop h6 immediately. So black has good chances here. The other option is to take on d5 with a knight, and there black sacrifices a pawn, and again must use the b file, the strong bishop. This one can come over here, and this is not something you want to play against a dragon player unless you're well prepared. So after d5 we saw a somewhat trendy move, queen e1 by Carlsen. We follow theory still, e5 by Gawain Jones. Carlsen took on c6, took on d5, and now Gawain took with a knight. It looks more natural to take with a pawn here, but the problem is it's hard to maintain this pawn after bishop to g5. So pin on the knight. If you defend the pawn, we can play bishop c4, and black doesn't have the same play as before. And d4, unfortunately, the pawn is still pinned, so white has time for queen takes e5 when everything crumbles. So the theory here is to take with the knight, and that's what Gawain did. Knight takes d5. Knight, bishop c4 by Carlsen, bishop e6, king b1, and now a rather new move by Gawain Jones. Play rook e8, a move which he says he likes, and Carlsen went with knight to e4. Note that black could have taken on c3 because it's a check, unpinning the knight, but white probably likes that position. It's more simplified and white has the better structure, so black prefers to keep the dynamics in the position. After knight e4 by Carlsen, there's f5 by black. Knight jumps into g5. Black does not want to lose this bishop, so he plays bishop to c8. And now the moment. Here is where it all happened. Gawain said after the game that h4 is virtually forced to protect this knight. Another option is bishop b3, which gives white options to play c4 in some lines to win the knight. But what happened next was very dramatic. Carlsen played g4. Now what's wrong with this move? Because there's something wrong with it, and it doesn't take a long time to see it. And assuming you found it, Gawain played f4. And here the chess world went wild. Reddit, Twitter, comments everywhere. What happened? Is this a sacrifice or did he blunder? Well, Carlsen removed all doubt after the game. This was just a crude blunder. The protection of the knight on g5 is cut, and the bishop on e3 is attacked. White cannot cover these two pieces at the same time. So this means that white is simply losing a piece. Now, I like what Carlsen did here. He said after the game, well, I had nothing to lose, so you know, just had to do my best from here. So he protected the knight first, h4. F takes e3 and queen takes e3. So let's take stock here. White has lost a piece, but he has one pawn. Black should be close to winning. He followed up with h6. Good move. Kicking this knight away. If Carlsen had moved this knight, say knight to e4, and black plays bishop e6, this bishop can drop back to f7, everything is covered. And note that these pawns, if you look at my pattern recognition video, where I do a pattern called shutting down Spassky, I'll talk about the dynamic between such pawns. And the fact is that whenever one of these pawns moves, let's say here, the opposite pawn will move forward and block the position. So white can never open up with these two pawns. Black will always block. So this should just be winning for black. So Carlsen made a very good practical decision here. Played the sneaky move, queen to c5, allowing black to take on g5. And, well, he might be able to do that. White will get some compensation, but he played bishop b7. But the question is, what if h takes g5? It's probably a possible move, because the queen takes c6. Black can still play bishop e6. And, well, true, white will get this. Bishop takes d5. But let's say a move like queen b6. And black is still up a piece. Okay, white has a lot of pawns, but I think black is still for choice. So maybe h takes g5 was a possible move here. Instead, after queen to c5, Gawain went with bishop to b7. And now the knight on g5 has to move. It goes to e4. And okay, white has some compensation. This bishop is strong, and we do have a lot of pressure on d5. So if you can take it under good circumstances, some stuff will hang. So at the moment, we are threatening to play knight d6, hitting the bishop and the rook. So that probably explains rook e6. So no knight d6 for white. He has to find something else. So he played h5. Now, in accordance with what we talked about earlier about the dynamics of these pawns, black should have played g5 here. And Gawain said after the game that he should have done so. But he thought he was clever and that he would play queen b6 first. But here, Carlsen had tricked him, and what to play here? If you move your queen or any other move, black will play g5. You'll be down a piece and everything will be blocked. So absolutely essential that white plays g5 himself here. Now things are not so clear actually. White is still down a piece, but he has a lot of compensation. Gawain took on g5, but let's examine why g5 was possible for white. It was possible because black can't take on c5. which was, if you play queen b6, you must have thought white can't trade queens, but he can't allow this because he has some easy tactics here. Knight takes b7, rook takes, and rook takes d5, with everything dropping if you take c takes d5, bishop takes d5. Both rooks are under attack. White will be up a lot of pawns with a winning ending. So h takes g5 was what black played here. But now the queen drops back. Now we don't want the queen trade, and we can take this later. And all of a sudden white has good compensation. This bishop is strong, this knight is very strong. And there is a potential of an attack on the black king, who doesn't have a lot of cover here. Gawain went with rook b8. He wants to get some play, but Carlsen just immediately shut it down. B-file? No soup for you. B3, nothing is happening on the b-file. Thank you very much, your move again. Okay, Gawain went with queen to d8. But here, Carlsen got very cold-blooded. He took on a7. And probably queen d8 was not the best move. And here, white is on the verge of turning the game on its head, making it such that it's white who is better and even winning. The point is, from here the queen is attacking the rook on b8. This gives some tactical opportunities to take on g5, for instance, and also means that the rook can't really move because we're attacking bishop on b7 if the rook moves. So black's pieces are kind of tied down. I mean, even this bishop, it's not doing much. So it's very difficult for black. You want g takes h5, but already that looks like a bad move, because now everything is coming in. Rook takes h5. Now the rook is active. Rook g6. But now Carlsen took on g5, utilizing this dynamic that we talked about earlier with the queen here. And now what to do? Gawain tried to trap the queen. He played queen to c8. Well, not trap it, but to enable him to play rook a8 without the bishop dropping. Rook g1. All of a sudden, all of white's pieces are getting active. Note that white is still down a piece. He has 2 pawns for it. But the activity of white's pieces and the lack of coordination that black has makes it such that this is just winning for white, actually. Rook a8. Queen b6. Another sneaky move using the pin here. And it's getting hard for black to find moves. Knight e6 is becoming a threat. If it's white to move, knight d6, and you can't protect the bishop on g7. Queen takes e6, there's queen takes b7. Double attack on this and this. So black has to try something. He played rook a6. This attacks the queen, but now the queen moves, queen c5. And true, you fix the problem with knight e6, but on the other hand, now your rook is hanging. What to do? Gawain played queen d7. He simply decided to sacrifice this rook. Okay, he will have 2 pieces for the rook, and maybe he can try to get some resemblance of coordination. But Carlsen just said no. Knight e4. No means no. Knight f6 check is coming, using 2 pins, the pin on the bishop and the pin on the knight. So neither piece can take on f6. So knight landing on f6 will simply win the queen. King h8. Ooh, the king is feeling the draft here. Queen f2. Not taking here. What to do? Gawain played queen e7. If you move the rook, queen h2, and we're back in Forkland, Forkalicious, your queen drops. Rook a8 is not possible. So Gawain tried queen e7. Now finally Carlsen took, but he only took once his pieces had gotten full coordination. The queen is helping here. Now everything is lining up against the king. Queen h6. So pin here. Knight is very active. Queen is active. Threat here. And there's no counterplay for black. White is even finally up material. He has rook and 2 pawns for 2 minor pieces. And the end is near. Queen a7, hitting the rook, but queen e6 check. King f8, you can't go the other way now because of the h file. Rook g5, he wants rook f5. So Gawain just tries to defend the immediate threats. The knight covers this, but now queen d6 check and knight c5. Now we have a threat of queen e6 and knight d7 when the queen drops. So Gawain tried bishop c8. And Carlsen could have gone for a more clinical way, but he just simply took on g7 and black resigned. As you can see, king takes g7, simply queen takes e5, and then, you know, wherever the king goes, white is up 3 pawns with a good knight against a bad bishop. That's not good enough against the world champion. And what a remarkable comeback by Carlsen. He dropped almost a full piece, but just played on and managed to muddy the waters enough to turn the game around. And yeah, this obviously catches the attention of the chess world. And well, yeah, my vote game of the day, very easy. I hope you enjoyed this one. And this means that we have a 3-way tie at the top between Magnus Carlsen, Shah Mamedyarov and Anish Giri. So with not many rounds to go, 5 rounds to go, this looks like a very exciting tournament. I think we still have Magnus Carlsen against Mamedyarov coming up, so very exciting end coming up. Free day tomorrow, but then the action resumes. I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.